On Sex Positive Me, we explore all aspects of sex and relationships, ranging from fetishes and BDSM to ethical non-monogamy and LGBTQ issues. Sex Positive Me destigmatizes sexual practices and relationships while reconciling reality with myth and misconceptions. Our goal is to educate, entertain, and be advocates of sexual freedom. And now here's your hosts, Angelique and John Luna.
Welcome to this special monthly edition of John and Angelique Only, chatting about things we normally don't interview about. So we would just like to describe tonight's horror movie that we had. Correct, John?
Well, I don't know if it's a horror movie because I enjoyed horror movies. I didn't enjoy this movie. I mean, it was, I would say it's like watching a train wreck. It was more like just watching a train with a few wheels missing go by. And it makes you wonder if it's going to crash and if it's going to be spectacular, or is it just going to keep going? It was bad.
I don't know if a train wreck would even qualify. How horrible. Deplorable. It was so deplorable. That's the only vocabulary word that comes to mind.
I guess there is a hint of jealousy, I have to admit, that this movie got picked up by HBO MAX. So it's up there along with, Wonder Woman 1984, which wasn't too much better. But it did have a higher quality value. It makes me wonder because it wasn't okay, it wasn't horrible on the production value, was what I expected. But as far as the content and the choices and then the turnaround at the you know what? Let's go ahead and just talk about the movie and go by it scene by scene. How about that?
Oh, you took like 10 pages of notes. I was just like, whoa. Whoa.
Okay. It was released in 2021, so it's just this year. 1 hour, 27 minutes. And it was called There Is No I in Threesome, or There's No I in Threesome?
There's No I in Threesome.
Okay.
New Zealand movie, which broke my heart because a lot of great things come out of New Zealand.
Frodo was one of them, but definitely not this movie. Like, if Frodo took a dump and then put it in a box, I think I'd rather have Frodo's than this movie.
Was it just Lord of the Rings that was filmed in New Zealand, or were there a couple other movies?
The Hobbit, too.
The Hobbit, too. Okay. All of Tolkien's books.
Yes, someone has a hard-on for those for New Zealand. I can't believe the country itself is beautiful.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
The scenery was gorgeous.
And hiking and just seeing like the town right off the beach. And I'm like, that is exactly how they sold New Zealand when they were looking for software engineers.
Yeah, we almost made it out there.
Almost. But the gods had something other things in mind. But it's just... Where do we begin? The story of
okay.
Love?
So let's set the scene. It starts supposedly 1 year before a wedding, and it starts at a pool scene. And these two people, a man and a woman, get up on top, and it's like an Olympic setting. It's like they are majorly high in the air. Like, I would not dive 3 stories off a diving board. But they get up and they get naked and they're going to jump in, and she's all like gung-ho. He's kind of reserved, but in the end, he jumps, she pulls back. He ends up at the bottom alone, looking up, wondering what the fuck. Now, there's so many flip forward, flip back scenes, but let's just place this. This is how the movie begins. Then they do some little talk about a manifesto. Now, the two main characters are Zoe and Ollie. Zoe being the woman, Ollie being the man in this, and they are going to open up their marriage.
Their relationship. Before their marriage. Yeah.
They've been together 2.5 years. And they're opening up their relationship for the last year for a few reasons. One, she's going to be in a different part of the country. So it's a long distance relationship.
Because she's an actress. He's a director.
He's a filmmaker.
Yes.
Okay.
Documentary.
That's it. Documentary maker. However, that's not the only reason. He says, Ali was not a very sexual or promiscuous man in his 20s, and now that he's going to get married, he feels he needs to get this out of his system. And the moment I heard that, I went, oh, geez.
It's going to fail. That is not a reason to get into an open relationship or explore ethical non-monogamy altogether.
Even the way they say it, they're like, our bodies are young and good looking now. So, we would need to do this while we can because no one wants to do this when they're old. And my first response in my head was, fuck you.
No shit.
People putting age limits on relationships it just came off bad straight off.
Well, I don't even think relationships. I think it was the whole sexuality thing.
Well, yeah, they both come off as bi, but they both act straight. Right?
They were as straight as the board, if you ask me. But
well, there was scenes of Ali did go out and find a date. And that went poorly. Because Grindr. I didn't even know Grindr worked in New Zealand.
Yes, I know. But the whole thing is he just did not respect boundaries because the date said straight off the bat, don't film me.
And he wouldn't shut off the camera.
He would not shut off the camera. So no surprise. Well, actually, I am surprised it lasted 15 minutes.
Then, first of all, we're going to go back to Ali at the moment. The two of them lived in a very small trailer. Nothing wrong with that, but we're talking tiny house living in a town of 100,000 people. So it's not like there's a whole lot of options. I mean, I know him in Orlando. There's about 2.5 million people here, and I still sometimes have trouble finding a date. But, okay, so 100,000 people, not a big pool to go by. He does the Grindr date, horrible success. Now, they are filming all of this.
All on iPhones, all on their phones. So, yeah.
And he posts it. They've been doing these video messages back and forth. Like they either film it and send each other the video, or they video chat. And just by the appearance, I'm like, 15 minutes into the film? I'm like, she is so immature. Because she's that free-spirited, I'm going to do what I want. And sure, things will work out and be okay. And there's nothing wrong with the optimistic part. But just she made these little comments that I'm just like, all right. Something's not right.
No, nothing is right with all these comments because I'm like red flag everywhere. And it's just, and you could see the chemistry go south between Ali and Zoe, especially once she's, introduced Tom into the dynamic. And it's just
before we even get to Tom.
Okay. Sorry.
Before we even get there, she's already had one or two partners.
Right. We didn't write down the entire manifesto.
Their manifesto was that they're allowed to have sex.
With same sex.
Same sex, which immediately went out the window.
Yes.
And they're going to, because they're living in different places, they're going to be able to have sex with whoever they want, but they need to tell the other person first, which really didn't happen either.
No, it didn't happen either.
And then when the wedding occurs, they will go back to a monogamous life and everything will be great.
Ugh. I hated that part. And I'm just like, I mean, I already had the spoilers on this because people have told us not to watch it. But some of us who are educators, we just had to watch the train wreck.
Okay, but we're trying to turn this into a comedy for the people listening. So it kind of does this little flashback part to where they're going to a BDSM sex party together. So now it's kind of doing this weird flashback thing to before they separate. And they go out and you could tell they say they bought a harness, they bought a collar, they bought BDSM clothes. He's wearing this like a big leather harness on. And it's just a series that goes wrong from they're
from the beginning, because he couldn't even go into calling her like her slave or Elizabeth or...
And she was all about it.
Yes, and she was totally, and he was just laughing and so uncomfortable. And I'm just like, why don't you just switch roles? Why don't she be the dominant and you be the submissive? Because you sure as hell can't even be a dominant.
Well, he's very unsure of himself throughout the film. Ali is definitely... feels he's less intelligent, and it even says it in one part of the film.
Oh, completely.
Than his counterpart there. But even to the point of flogging each other, taking turns to see what it's like.
And of course, what we do, we're like, oh, they're doing it completely wrong. We're judging how they're flogging. Okay,
You know,
so
but there's different wrongs. There's like, okay, I did it wrong, but at least I swung it like I would a baseball bat. Or I did no. He's maneuvering it as if it's a fairy wand. That's the best way I can do it. Just kind of making sprinkles go everywhere. And I'm like, what? There's a target. Hit the fucking target.
Oh, he needed just a tattoo, a tutu. No, not a tattoo,
Yes,
a tutu.
tattoo. He needed a tutu.
He needed a tutu with that. But yes, also the way he was grabbing the leash. I mean, one wrong tug, he could have broke her neck. I was just like, no.
The point is, she hands him the leash and says, now pull on it. And he pulls on it as if he was like trying to get a dog off someone who the dog's biting. And I'm like, no.
I was just like, no. Well, you know, with me and also my trauma with neck. And I was just like, no. Sorry. It's just.
Well, moving forward a little more, they're separated. I mean, not separated. They're in different cities.
Uh-huh.
And right away, Ollie in the trailer, beard growing longer, unshaven, kind of looking a
Mountain
little
man.
and getting worse. Like a little bit depression setting in. And then you flip over to her, and there's one guy, then there's another guy, there's a third guy, and then in comes Tom. And when they start talking, it's actually funny. I've told you about everything I do when I go on a date, but I never brought a camera into the room to watch us have sex.
No.
And that's what they do. They actually like bring FaceTime, because it was iPhones, into the room while they're having sex. And then he's trying to like talk to the guy going, hey, so what do you do for a living? And he's kind of like trying not to make eye contact with the camera, Tom, and feels very awkward.
I don't think that was Tom in that one.
It may have been a different one.
It could have been a different guy there completely, but it's just like, who does that? I mean, unless it's consensual, like, you know, hot wifing that you want to see it.
It just
But
didn't.
it just looked like a bad porno. Like, really, like mirror. What is it? That somebody make a porno.
Oh, the one with Oh God, I know that because it came out in 2009.
Yeah.
2008. Zach and Murray.
Yeah, Zach and Miri makes a porno. Yeah, so this is how bad. I think they did a better job making the porno than this movie did. It was just like, really? It's like, okay. Okay, move on. Move
on to the next one, of course.
We're going through John's 7 pages of the movie.
4 pages.
Oh, really?
But I want to go ahead and go through this.
8x10 legal pad.
So it goes from Ollie being depressed to Ollie finds a woman. And immediately he turns around, is super anxious, super happy. The new girl's name is Siobhan, and starts video messaging to Zoe, who's been having a ball up until now, and then is all of a sudden like, oh, yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm like, wow.
That was not compersion. That was a very, very horrible way of compersion, of saying.
That was sabotage compersion.
Sabotage compersion. Absolutely.
Sabotage compersion is the new thing.
Yes.
It's sort of like saying, yeah, I'm very happy you found another lover. Can't you tell it in my voice?
As I shoot daggers through my eyes and razor beams coming through like a cat in a spaceship.
So now here's a guy who's really insecure.
Extremely.
Whose fiance has had several lovers now, and he's watched.
Okay, and here is the thing that drove me freaking insane. Husband, boyfriend, wife, girlfriend. What the fuck is that about? You're still fiancés. Just
okay, it's another title they make up.
Yeah,
whatever.
These titles. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with it's New Zealand. I heard a lot of slang that I had to put my little translator on. I mean, I knew what it meant, but I'm sorry, I'm an American. No one here says Sheila unless we're talking about Army of Darkness, because there was a girl in it named Sheila.
I think it's some kind of slang.
And blokes.
Yeah, blokes.
And yeah,
well,
I think it's cute. Like I think the accent's amusing.
Yes, you do like the accent, but you're a sucker for accents.
That's true. An accent is very seductive.
Yeah, like I'm a sucker when your New York accent comes out. I always love it.
What do you want me to say? Where is it? It's in the draw. Draw.
Draw. I love when he says that. Ooh, it turns me on.
Okay, so
You can guess what we're doing after this podcast.
then it jumps back to Ollie chatting with one of his buddies, who is the typical, I am for monogamy 100%. Why do you need a girlfriend? Well, I have a girlfriend and I have a fiance. Well, why do you need her? Why do you need this? Why do you need that? I'm like, are you his fucking mother? It was just freaking hysterical.
It was, but it was a real friend. He is just really concerned because he probably knew Ollie better than Ollie knew him.
Now, in defense, though,
Oh, God.
no, Ollie, in his defense, what he says to his partner is, the popular Polly quote that Polly obviously means many loves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a child and then have a second child, you don't love the first child less. Love is infinite. You can love both of them. He tries that quote, but screws it up.
So horribly.
And
then his friends, like, it's not like you're going to have sex with your kids. It's like, what?
So
Why
somehow we
would
touched on pedophilia in this movie in a very weird... And the thing is, it was sort of like the drunken friend on the couch who was a little overweight and chubby.
Oh, totally. What do you call it? Simon Pegg's friend from all his movies.
Oh, he was much classier.
Oh, well, no. When Shaun of the Dead, he was pretty bad. But then he was a great zombie playing video games, so, okay.
Okay, so now all of a sudden there's these jumps in the movie where Ollie's chatting with his mom, and let's see, talks about the wedding, talks about some stuff, and then mentions about now they're doing polyamory, and his mom, of course, is like, what is that, what does that mean? And his mom's like, oh, it's when you live together in sin.
No, that was open relationship.
Open, which...
Because, yes. So she didn't know what polyamory was. And then he tells his mom, just don't Google the images. When you look up polyamory, don't look at the images.
Now, all of a sudden, we do another scene jump. They need that. I wish they did some type of like Star Wars fade across the screen so I knew we were moving to a different location because it kind of just jumps. And next thing I know, they're filling up an enema kit. What the fuck?
Okay, and the bathroom was a weird situation. Like, the toilet was in the other side of the house, and the shower was in one side of the house. So he literally made a dash from the shower to the toilet and left the trail.
So what this comes out as Ollie and Zoe are having their first threesome with Siobhan. So just met Siobhan this morning to Zoe. And next thing I know, goes from an enema scene to this weird dancing scene where Siobhan is in a wedding dress to a threesome. And the next morning, boom, it's gone. Now, at this point, Ollie's like top of the world.
Right, but it did look like a bad acid trip scene there because they even dressed him in drag and did makeup on him.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It was weird.
It was kind of weird. But then it comes to the next morning. At least, there was no transition needed.
There was no sex shown between the three of them. I was like bummed.
I thought, there may have been, but they never showed it. Not as much as they showed sex between Zoe and all her other lovers.
Oh, correct, yeah.
But so it comes up the next morning that Tom told, Tom's the third, told Zoe, I love you. And she replied with me too, which of course devastates Ollie now.
But okay, you forgot to put in transition that she waited a couple of days to tell Ollie that Tom already professed his love to her, and she reciprocated.
Well, that happened. Then somehow she took the train or airplane back to the town because now they're together at Siobhan's place. Now they had the little freaking threesome. What was the one? The scene from Pulp Fiction threesome. It was really weird because it was kind of trippy.
It was all trippy there, but
then the next morning is the confession with the I love yous.
Yeah, that was the confession. But still, it took her a couple of days, I don't know, 2 or 3 days to confess to Ollie that, hey, Tom said that he loves me. Now, that shit wouldn't fly between the two of us. Hell no.
I would call you up like within an hour or two being like, okay, we need to talk. Shit happened, and I'm not letting this.
I would do the same thing because I would even tell my partner, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not at that level. And it's like, no. It's like the only one I say I love you and mean it in an emotional, romantic, intimate setting is just John, and that's it. I might say I love you to some of my friends, but that is a friendship I love you. Even some of my boy toys, I don't even say I love you to them. I don't think I have.
No, I can't say I've ever said I love you to any of my girls.
You know, it's been like maybe, yeah, or, you know, hey, love or something. But yeah, it's a hey, love, but not hey, I love you. It's like, no. I mean, there's no way. And that was just so disrespectful. So, I mean.
So wrong.
So wrong. And then it's just like, and to this point, you're kind of looking, who's the villain in this? Because I almost feel that there should be a villain in regards to this, but not the whole ethical non-monogamy.
In this, I mean, let's be honest. It's to this point, it's two people that went into ethical non-monogamy, throughout the ethical, had their own set of rules and wants, are constantly breaking the rules they set between each other.
Right.
And kind of just dumping stuff on each other and saying, deal with it.
Yeah.
So it goes from the I love you conversation, which of course devastates Ollie. Now they're having a picnic. So it's like the next day or something. And they're talking about how once they get married, they want to have kids, and being a third doesn't fit into it.
Right.
Fuck that. I know so many poly families that have grown up like that. But again, they're viewing it as, we're going to do this for 12 months, and then that's it. We're done. It's not a subscription from AT&T. You don't just say, I'm not renewing, and that's it.
Right. And then during the picnic conversation, it was just so bizarre because Ollie's like, well, I don't want to, you know, wanker in my child, you know? So they're talking about having children, and Zoe's like not willing to give up Tom. So, Ollie asks, it's like, what is it going to take for you to give up Tom? Because Tom doesn't want kids. It's like, well, we're going to have kids. And that's why I'm like, okay, we're going to have kids now. It's like, screw the marriage. It's just get Tom out of the picture.
Yeah, so obviously Ollie is super threatened. I mean, this is so far a recipe for disaster. Now, here's the weirdest thing. Up until now, Tom and Ollie have not met.
No.
So I'm going to skip a little bit through the film, and all of a sudden there's a video of Tom talking to Zoe saying, I want to give you babies. So we're like, okay, shit, crap. Next scene, Ollie has gone to whatever this new town is. I do not know New Zealand area.
No,
and is visiting Zoe and Tom. And let me tell you, they had a very nice apartment. If you don't inhale, it was the smallest damn place. Very nice small place, but small. Okay, so the three of them start chatting, and right away, Ollie is so uncomfortable. He visits for the night. They go out dancing. It's kind of awkward.
But also, when they first meet, when he gets out of the taxi, Zoe automatically forces them to hug each other. So trying to force a relationship right away. And it's just like, dude, give them space and time to breathe and do that typical masculine macho.
What do we got to do? Sniff each other's crotch?
Exactly. You know how the jungle goes, it's like trying to do that. Okay. Anyways, continue.
So they go out, and it is such the weird experience of them being out because Zoe is all over Tom. And for the most part, Ollie is just this side piece watching. Somehow flips now to the next morning. Just Ollie alone, saying he just had his last night first bi experience. Apparently, Tom is not as straight as led to believe because they sucked each other off, and then
they had sex.
Mm-hmm. But while Tom was ready to fuck Zoe, he pulled the condom off and basically gave. Up until now, they've been having safe sex. Gave Tom permission to bareback Zoe, which again, as far as I know, there's no birth control. There's no other protection. There's been nothing.
So now they're officially fluid bonded then.
And Ollie is near crying while he woke up that morning with the two of them fucking next to him. Then they go off in the shower and leave him alone. And he has this big spiel about, I don't like showering with other people. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot.
Oh, but here's the thing that drove me insane. Like, several times in the movie, he actually was using some kind of logical explanation to process his feelings, like logically making sense of like, no, I don't want to take a shower with the two of them because it's wasting water and then it's cold. And I was just like, dude, there's nothing hotter than having a threesome shower together. It's like you clean each other and have oh yes, oh God, I miss those. Oh
You know, we have a very big shower now.
Yes, we do. It's like yes. Oh, sorry, digressing.
So now it goes back to them being on the diving board. And what you realize is this is not the beginning of the film. This is almost the end of the film because the cameraman is Tom. So it's like, okay, so that didn't happen in the beginning. That happened at the end. Oh, he jumped off without her. She stood up there with Tom. I get it. Next scene, Zoe says, we're breaking up. Yes, it's been 3.5 years, yada, yada, yada. I fell in love with someone else. Okay. The typical stuff happens. Always depressed, yada, yada.
Lot of yada yadas.
Okay, but here's. Should I spoil the ending of this?
Oh, I thought we had a couple more things before we get into the ending. Spoiled.
I can't even go there. It's just so weird. Some of these scenes, and the next thing you know, there's other women saying the lines of the breakup scene that we just heard. And there's like 6 different women going into it. And then eventually the woman saying it again is the woman that we think is Zoe. But later on, we find out it's not Zoe. Her name is Natalie. And although they use parts of the film that showed, the mother, that showed Ollie, that showed this, the actual person, Zoe, was completely cut out, replaced by an actress, and that was refilmed and then all edited together. So right now, I feel like, so what you're saying is you did something amazingly stupid.
Bait and switched us.
Completely wrong. And then thought it's a great idea to do it a second time, but on a more professional fucking level, and screw this up.
It's beyond screw. I mean, it is just like breaking through the 4th dimensional wall. It was just so
No, this
bad.
is when the 4th wall kicks you in the ass.
Oh my God. I am just like, now I understand why others in the community told us, don't watch it. Don't. Just, if you do, be prepared. I said, I was so kind to Kevin Patterson, where he wrote this amazing book, Love is Not Colorblind. Is that right? Yes. And he just said, prepare yourself. And I'm like, you know what? I'll watch it with a grain of salt and a bottle of wine. We just didn't do the bottle of wine.
No, we did do the sushi.
We did sushi.
But we didn't do the wine.
We didn't do the wine. But, you know, John, I was not expecting you to take so many notes there. I mean, he was meticulous taking these notes.
Because I want to say, let's talk fair. What was wrong about the film? Okay, first things first, poly equals open relationship. No, that's the first one. Second, poly or open, whichever you want to, they're doing now because they use them interchangeably, is something you do when you're young and then you grow up and get out of it. No. You can do poly or an open relationship at any age. I've been doing it since my 30s. I'm in my 40s now. I do plan on doing it well into my 60s as long as I can find partners. And it's God, they make it sound like it's going out and binge drinking. It's not about that.
It's like a phase. Like they make it sound like, oh, it's only temporary and that's it. And no, you can't. And his speech at the end that there's no way that
to have your cake.
Cake and eat it too, that no way this could work. I mean, it didn't work for him because he couldn't do it. Or he couldn't emotionally balance it. I could fairly say that.
Okay, well, I'm going to say right off the bat, it was a couple that was young, because again, this happened 5 years ago from when this was filmed. Mm-hmm. So even if we put another year in it, happened say 2015. So they're again 20s. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, when I say I understood something in my 20s, then I get to my 40s, I'm like, yeah, I really didn't understand that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, totally there altogether. I'm just like, but at the end, when we discover huzzah, this is a facade. This whole, like, it really wasn't Zoe. It was an actress playing Zoe. You know, it just, I felt bait and switched. It was not a documentary at that point.
Well, the only redeeming portion of it was at the end, they do show some of the raw clips that he filmed during his relationship. And he admits, wow, he to himself that he was a real asshole. Because then they show some of the clips that obviously weren't shown previously, where he guilts her and he says some really mean stuff. And he's like, well, maybe I wasn't the victim in all of this, because in the film, he filmed himself a lot as the victim, as the, she wanted this, I really didn't. There were so many things wrong with the way they got into polyamory, the reasons they got into polyamory. Oh, I didn't have enough sex in my 20s. I need to do this before I get married. Once I get married, we're going to shut the door on it.
And then the whole bisexuality thing, I didn't explore it there. So once I am done with this year experiment, I'm no longer bisexual. I'm like, baby, honey, how old are you? And are you no longer bisexual?
Being bisexual is sort of like being tall. You don't shrink. Well, maybe when I hit 90, I'll start hunching over a bit. But normally, you don't stop being tall or stop being short or stop being black or stop being white. It's you are what you are.
I know, and it just so drove me insane. All the cliches, all these stereotypes of how and why this will never ever work.
It's not to be taken as a documentary to model your life after. It's not meant to be a romantic anything, comedy or drama. I really don't even know where this would fit.
Horror.
Yeah, but I like horror. And if I have to go through and see, hey, Freddy Krueger, Jason, oh, this shit. It just feels like it's degrading the horror realm.
I mean, it's definitely not a rom-com at all.
It just
is there such a thing as a rom horror? Romantic horror movie?
Can we just put it in a miscellaneous bin to be forgotten?
It's definitely not. It does not qualify anywhere near a B-rated movie, because even B-rated movies are much better than this.
If you're thinking about, or you're in polyamory, any type of ethical non-monogamy relationship, you're probably going to laugh at it at best. If I wasn't doing a podcast on it, I would have turned it off 40 minutes in.
Oh, Lord. There's no laughing. It's cringeworthy. It is so cringeworthy because you just want to scream at the movie and just like, no, that's not how you do it. No, that's not right. No, your communication skills suck.
That is true. The communication skills were
worse than a monogamous relationship.
It has nothing to do with monogamy. Don't even go there. Whether you're monogamous or non-monogamous, there are monogamous couples with great relationships. It was that of two immature teenagers is where I'd go with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the frontal lobe has not fully developed, and that's basically the best way to explain how they reacted and acted. Ooh. What?
Well, now that we're rating films, can we give it
a fringe-worthy?
No. It's a scale from 1 to 10. Like 5 penises up would be fantastic, and 5 penises down, 5 limp dicks is the worst. I would probably have to give this a half limp dick.
Oh God.
So again, no hard dicks, all limp. That's the worst. 5 hard-ons, that would be the best. I'd go with half a hard-on. Sort of like if someone took half a Viagra, but then realized he was watching a porno with B. Arthur. So you're kind of getting the good hard-on from the medication, but you're not really there.
Ugh. Why did you have to bring in B. Arthur? No.
It was done in Airheads, and I can never forget that movie.
Oh, God. Not Airheads. Oh, no. It's like, why? Why?
So that's it.
Our younger audience members are not going to get that.
We cater to no ages or all ages. So
yes, but I know, but this is what we took one for the team. Team Bean, all of you, to spare you from this avoidance of ethical non-monogamy done the wrong way and then saying, you're right, it does not work.
Although I do want to go ahead and do like a Mystery Science Theater, us reviewing The Secretary, because that was a good one.
Oh, The Secretary was fantastic.
Was
I loved it. It was great. The communications, the directions,
the protocols,
the dominant and submissive. Yes, it was absolutely well done. Underrated, but it's because what was
Maggie Gyllenhaal was in it.
Maggie Gyllenhaal. I was just thinking of the guy. It's like
David Spade.
David Spade.
No.
No. Spader.
Yeah.
James Spader.
James Spader. That's it.
I had to think about it because that has this no. We won't go into Angelique's past in regards to how she is like 6 degrees separated from James Spader.
Okay, we'll move on, which is something I wanted to tell you. Don't we have someone who's kind of sponsoring us for this event?
Yes, we are being sponsored tonight, this podcast, to save it. That's why we are using this fabulous Bunny's Pleasure Box. They sent us this fabulous box. You could see the review on YouTube of us opening the couples pleasure box, because they do have one box for men, one box for women, and one box for couples. And Bunny's Pleasure Box goal is to provide you with the adult toys and sexy surprises that are both in line with your comfort level and help you discover new desirable things. Bunny Pleasure Box aims to take stress and shyness out of the bedroom, and instead they are helping you discover new ways to keep things fun, frisky, and exciting.
I will say, from opening the box, it was a variety of different items.
Yes, and they are very affordable. It is $60 for the box, and it is filled with about 5 to 8 different products. And the one box that we did receive, we had blindfold, we had rose petals. I did
like the rose petals.
Yes, the massage candle and the handcuffs. Those were pretty good there. A little games, and of course, our favorite, lube and stimulators to really focus everything. So, yes, it was a good box.
It was a cool box, and we've gotten plenty of boxes before. We did like this one. Mm-hmm. We will be doing a YouTube review on it shortly and putting that up. Probably be up before the time this podcast airs. We hope.
It would definitely. But most important, they do ship discreetly, so no one's going to know what is in the box or what is the box. So it's just another, UPS, USP, whatever delivery.
Oh, come on. With how much stuff most people get from Amazon, no one's going to notice one box. For all we know, that's your toilet paper or your... Because people order the weirdest stuff off of Amazon these days, so no one's going to think a word of it. It's nice, it's discreet, it shows up, you'll have a ball with it.
Really, hon? It's like how many times we've gone through your boxes there that I'm just like, thank God they're discreet.
No comment, but if you want to find out more, you can check it out on the YouTube channels. So, and if you have other movies you'd like us to go ahead and see and review, please let us know, because we're looking for others. Of course, there's a Secretary. Someone said 50 Shades. I slapped them profusely.
Well, at the same time, I almost got kicked out of the movie theater because I was laughing so hard at the first 50 Shades Grey. While everyone was getting hot and heavy and steamy, I'm just cackling like a friggin' hyena because it was just funny because everything was wrong. Yeah, I know. I can't behave on movies that it's kind of like if you know how to do the sci-fi special effects and you know what they did wrong and you're just kind of laughing at it. Yeah, that was it. Because didn't you have that experience there? That someone...
I can't say.
Well, no, because you said you couldn't go to Halloween Horror Nights because the person you were dating just kept ruining the moment.
It wasn't a movie. It was someone who knew special effects. So yes, going through haunted houses and being told everything and having them be right at every time and them not being afraid of everything. And then here I am again, trying to be more the mannish part of the relationship. And I'm like, I'm jumping my ass off. And it's much more fun to go with you because you jump a lot more than I ever did.
Oh, I know. I jumped so much. And not to mention, so did your daughter the first time we took her to Halloween Horror Nights, that your tight-fitting shirt became a XXX large.
Well, with that note, do not watch this movie. And we're going to thank you all for joining us tonight.
Hey, John, I want to get a new toy.
Okay, so let's go to Fairvilla.
But I don't want to waste time trying to find out what goes with what.
Well, there's Fairvilla University, and their staff is very well educated and helpful.
Okay, but how about if I just want to go to a party instead?
Then go to their website, because on their calendar they list all their events.
But I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Have you heard of their loyalty program?
Oh yeah, that thing on my keychain that makes everyone blush every time they see it.
That's the one.
Let's go!
Well, they have over 5 locations in Central Florida. Which one do you want to go to?
Fairvilla. For pleasure, fun, and fantasy. Thank you for listening to Sex Positive Me. If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and review us. You can find us on social media platforms at Sex Positive Me or on our website at sexpositiveme.com. You can also reach me on all social media platforms as Miss Angelique Luna.
And you can find me at John C. Luna. And if you liked content like this and want some more, please subscribe to our monthly newsletter. And thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.